Hi, I'm Kelly with citruscycles.ca. This is Raleigh's Superb IE. As you can see, it's a classically styled step-through with a rear hub motor and a rear rack-mounted battery. Now, I had some concerns about this bike before I got it in. I debated with myself, is it going to be a good bike? You know, we only sell really nice bikes. And so I've been trying to find a bike in this price range, the around $2,000, that's really easy to get on and off, that would still be a decent bike. And, you know, honestly, in that kind of price range, most of the time, I'm trying to think of a nice way of using a word other than junk. They're inexpensive, the quality's not very good. I've owned bikes myself a long time ago in that price range. They didn't last long. They were just more hassle than it was worth. So that was really concerning to me as I thought, okay, what am I going to get in that price range? What's it going to be like? And I'm happy to say that Raleigh's done a good job. Yes, they've made some compromises, and I'm going to point those out to you to help you understand who this bike is for and what you're missing out on by only spending this amount of money. If you can spend a little bit more, we've got some fantastic bikes that don't have the same compromises that this bike has. But if you're looking for a really classic looking bike that's super easy to get on and off because you've got the low crossbar here, that you're not going to be taking on difficult trails, or, you know, mostly you're going to be riding on pavement, not massive hills, you don't need a lot of speed, you're just looking for something really comfortable, easy to get on and off, easy to maintain, easy to ride, and really affordable, then the Superb IE might be a really good choice for you. For the detailed specs on this bike, or to try it out, or to contact us with any questions you have, head over to our website at citruscycles.ca. There you'll see all the details, you'll see the current pricing, and you'll see our contact info. So if you want to set up an appointment to come try it here in Ladysmith, you can do that from our website, and you can also reach out to us with any questions you have, or anything that I might miss from the video. So let me go through some of the key points here, and as I go through, I'll point out some of the things they've done to keep the price low. So I said this was a really comfortable bike, and you can see we've got these kind of swept back handlebars here. We've got some cork style, not sure that they're actually cork, they're actually rubber plastic grips. Still quite comfy, but, you know, trying to go for that classic look. We've got a nice brown saddle here, and we do have kind of some springs there to help smooth out the ride. And that's important because this is a rigid fork bike. So remember at the beginning I said if you're mostly going on pavement, this is a good choice. If you're doing a lot of broken pavement, gravel, things like that, you might find that this is a little bit bumpy, a little bit more difficult to control because of the rigid fork here, so that might not be a good choice for you. Same with the tires. These are good Kenda tires. They're 700 by 38C or 28 by 1 5/8. They are great on pavement. They're actually quite good on wet as well because of the siping here on the tire. But you know, narrow tires like this, high pressure, make you go fast, but they're really, again, ideal for pavement and not for loose gravel and things like that. But again, think about where you're riding this bike. If it's mostly on pavement, those are good tires for that. And in fact, you have these beautiful fenders here. And look at this, just the design, the chrome. If you're looking for that classic Raleigh look, this is a great bike to consider. You've got the rear fender here as well. We've got a reflector on the rack. We've got a nice chain guard here to protect you with the Raleigh markings and colors on it. And, you know, that's a full chain guard. So a really practical bike, and like I said, it's quite attractive as well. As far as how they managed to get the price at this point, obviously they're using a rear hub drive, and this isn't, you know, a no-name cheapy drive that isn't going to last you very long. Curry Technologies actually designed this mid-drive. It's a 350 watt, it's 48 volts. It's actually a very good, very quiet. You don't really even notice that it's in there, which is nice if you're looking to kind of blend in. Obviously the battery is a little bit of a giveaway here, but if you had pannier bags on the bars here, you wouldn't even know that there's a battery there. And by the way, this rack does support 25 kilograms, which is actually pretty impressive for a rack mount, a rack that already has the battery in it. The battery is removable. We can just use the key and pull it off here. And again, it's not a cheap, no-name brand battery that you're not going to be able to find replacements for. It is a good quality 48-volt lithium-ion battery, and you can check out the specs on the battery on our website for all the details on that. To turn, and we have the kickstand, we have some decent comfort pedals here with reflectors. Even with the rack here, they include bungee cord, which is awesome, so you can use that for putting things on. And I actually prefer the bungee cord to, sometimes you see the spring-mounted bars on here. Those always rattle, that's why they call them, rattle traps. So this is nice and quiet, and you've got the bungee on there to keep that quiet. And like I said, you could do pannier bags on there as well. So yeah, we've got actually a good rear hub motor here, and a very basic control panel. So again, if you're looking for something simple, easy to maintain, doesn't really look like an e-bike. Like I said, you put some pannier bags on there, and this control panel is very small. Not that noticeable. The light, by the way, is optional. So this particular light we put on here is a relocatable one, which is handy because most e-bikes you can't put a basket on the front because you usually have a computer here. With this bike, you could actually put one on there. So that's maybe a wicker basket or something like that to really match the styling of the bike. It'd be pretty cool. So to turn the bike on, there's a power key here, but that only turns the bike off. Or if you've turned the battery on and turned the bike off, you can turn the bike on again as long as the battery's on. That's confusing, right? So let me just clarify. We'll turn the battery on here. Now you can see that we've got 5 bars showing me the charge setting of the battery, which is handy. And then that turns the bike on automatically. You can see up here we also have another indicator giving us an idea of the battery life. Now this is actually kind of cool. The power button, when you press and hold it, should show me the estimated range based on my charge and the level of assistance that I'm in right now. And the level of assistance is easily selected by the plus and minus here, so you can see I can go all the way off. I don't have to turn the bike off if I want to use it without assistance. I can just move that level down to nothing. So I've got 4 levels here. Level 4 is actually quite zippy. Level 1 is nice for just cruising around and not using a lot of battery. So you've got that ability to control the 4 different levels there. The light you can activate by pressing and holding, I believe it's the minus button here. Yeah, there we go. So we activated the light, pressing and hold it again turns it off. So you basically, your display, very simple. You've got an LED here showing your speed. And like I said, if you press the power button, it shows you your range, and that depends again on the level of assistance you're in. So here it's saying 67 at level 1, and up to level 5 gives me 21. So that's kind of useful and unexpected on a bike in this price range. Most bikes in this price range don't have that feature, so that's kind of neat. Now, speaking of this kind of price range, some of the other things they've done to get at that point, and this was one of my concerns, is it does use mechanical linear pull rim brakes. So with a mechanical brake, you are relying on the force of your hands to pull the levers to stop your bike. With hydraulic disc brakes or hydraulic rim brakes, you're not reliant on your own strength to stop the bike. You're using or leveraging the advantage of the hydraulic fluid. So I'm used to riding, and all of the other bikes we sell all have hydraulic brakes, whether they're hydraulic disc brakes or hydraulic rim brakes, and so I'm just used to having that confidence and knowing that I'll be able to stop no matter what the situation is. And I can go down super steep hills really fast and suddenly need to slam on the brakes, and I can do that. Especially, on a mountain bike, you want to have that stopping power. So I was a little bit concerned. I almost didn't order this bike in because I thought, I really don't like selling bikes with linear, mechanical rim brakes. Are people going to have problems stopping? And let me get it in, let me try it. So, I was trying it out, and for the type of riding you're doing with this, again, paved trails, roads, that sort of thing, it actually stops pretty well. And I thought about it, I thought, you know what? It's kind of funny because growing up, we only had mechanical brakes. We only had mechanical rim brakes. I mean, that's what everybody used, and nobody thought, oh, that's a little bit dangerous. Mind you, we also didn't wear helmets, and we used to put cards in the spokes, so maybe that's not a good judge of whether it's dangerous or not. But I am satisfied that you should be able to stop. Of course, keep in mind that in wet conditions, rim brakes do lose some of their stopping power, so you'll want to be a little bit more careful. And so if that's important, if you're doing a lot of steep hills, you like to go fast, you shouldn't buy a bike like this. You should buy a bike with some sort of hydraulic brakes. But if you're just kind of cruising around, then, you know, this will work really well for you. The other kind of compromise to get this bike down to that kind of price range, we don't have built-in lights, so I think I mentioned that. This is just a reflector. Now there is wiring in the back here. You can see it's actually right there. So you could hook up your own light if you wanted to, just like we did at the front. The light isn't included, so we wired the front one up. We're trying to get a backlight in to put that on there. So we do have a Shimano tourney on the back here as far as the derailleur goes, and what do we have up here? 7 speeds, you can see, and it's kind of this not my favorite style of shifter because, again, I'm coming from really nice bikes, mountain bikes with trigger shifters and all of that. But, you know, this works. It's pretty easy. You know, you've got the plus button here, so it's kind of obvious what that does, and the minus button over here. So you can, you know, change the gears relatively easily. It's not performance oriented. You're not going to be flying through a whole bunch of gears at once because you're kind of doing that. But again, this isn't the type of bike you're going to be doing that on. This is a kind of a cruising bike. So I think that was a reasonable compromise to make in order to bring the price down. And, you know, so the 7 gears, they've actually got this massive climbing gear here. So sure, it's only 7 gears, but the range is actually pretty impressive. You've got the mega range, as they call it. So if you do have some big hills, between this 350 watt motor and this massive chain ring here, you're actually going to be able to climb up some pretty steep hills. So, you know, other things, it's kind of, they've got the wiring kind of semi-integrated into the frame here, but not all of it. As you can see, we have some pretty big plugs back here that are necessary because this is a 48 volt battery, so it's pretty powerful, and you need the heavy duty kind of wires that are going through there to the rear hub. And of course, being a rear hub drive, we can't put a quick release on it, so we've got bolts there on either side that you'd have to remove. We don't have a quick release on the front, which, you know, may be a positive thing for you. We don't have a reflective sidewall like you would. They're not really high puncture resistant tires. Those are easy to change. You can put on some Schwalbe Energizer Plus, for example. Super high puncture resistance, have that nice reflective strip, but you do have reflectors on the side, so you are going to be relatively safe with the reflectors on the front and on the back. So there's little things here and there that you could upgrade if you wish to, but all in all, for the price, what they're trying to achieve with this bike, I think they've done a good job of it. It's a nice looking bike. It rides very smoothly. It's really quiet. It's very comfortable. And as long as you're not hurtling down a lot of hills or climbing, big, massive hills, then this is a great bike to consider. If you have questions about it, you want to try it out, like I said, head over to our website at citruscycles.ca and check out the Superb IE from Raleigh. This is the small, it's available in large, and this is that kind of classic cream color. So any other questions, anything I missed? Like I said, head over to the website at citruscycles.ca. Okay, I'll take you for a little quick ride test here. I don't have my proper camera that I would normally use, so this might be a little bumpy and jerky, and I apologize for that, but thought it's better than nothing. So here we go. I got a shift, which is kind of hard when you're holding the camera, so I apologize for the strange camera angles here. There we go. Okay, good gear. And yeah, it's a nice, comfortable, upright riding position. Very, very upright, in fact. And yeah, it doesn't take much to, I'm level 3 right now, to get up to speed pretty quickly. You can barely hear, I don't know if you can hear it all. Barely hear it, if anything. Try the front brake here. Yeah, that's kind of the experience I expect with the rim brake. It's actually, let me try the rear brake here. Yeah, it's got some good stopping power. Let me try it in level 1 here and see how that feels. Level 1, you don't really know that it's an e-bike. It's very, very, very subtle. Level 2 gives you a little bit more. Still, you know, really quite subtle. But once you get to the higher speeds, yeah, I can tell it's kicking in there quite a bit, helping me out. If I move it up to 4, yeah, you get tons of power. And we could get up to that 32 maximum speed pretty quickly there. So yeah, you can get up some speed pretty quickly on the level 4. And yeah, again, just, you know, really very upright, very comfortable. Gives you a good view of city traffic. Got a little bit of a hill here, but really no problem at all on the hill. Again, super quiet. And the power is nice and subtle. Sometimes on a rear hub motor, it gets really jumpy. You know, as soon as you start pedaling, you get the surge. I'm just really gonna pay attention to this again. So as I pedal, you know, that power comes very quickly, but it doesn't jump at all. I don't feel anything there. No, and it comes really immediately. Again, in a bike this price range, usually what I expect is after a revolution of the pedals, that's when the power starts. It's really hard if you're starting on a hill where you need to get across an intersection quickly. But even on, you know, the maximum level, level 4 there, let me just completely stop here. There we go. And start out and see how quickly we get that power. Yeah, almost immediate. So that's really, really impressive for a bike in this price range. Often, like I said, you don't get that power right away, and it gets really, really annoying. And that's why they often put a throttle on bikes like that, because you need the power right away. With this bike, there isn't a throttle, but I don't see that you really need it. You put it into level 4 there, and you get the power that you need right away. So so for more information on it, head over to our website at citruscycles.ca.